Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone is excited more than before to continue with our agenda for today. And I hope you are happy with your refreshment.
All right, now let's get back to business. For the next session, we will hear a remarkable keynote insights from a top 2% researcher from our notable keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Sakiru Adebola Solarin from Faculty of Business, Multimedia University. Professor Dr. Sakiru Adebola Solarin read for his PhD in University Utara, Malaysia. He is currently affiliated with Multimedia University, Malaysia. Prior to joining the Multimedia University, he was an associate professor and exam officer at the School of Economics, University of Nottingham, Malaysia. He was the chairperson of Center for Globalization and Sustainability Research, GCSR, for several years. He has written several journal papers on numerous areas of economics, including environmental economics, and has participated in many national and international conferences. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Professor Dr. Solarin. Over to you, Prof.
Good morning to everyone, and welcome to DIFCON 2024. And I happen to be one of the keynote speakers for today's conference. So, I would like to discuss on a particular conference called COP28. So, probably based on the introductory remark by the anchor, he said probably I'm one of the top 2% researchers in the world. So normally I should maybe discuss on how to become a top 2% researcher in the world. But today's keynote address from my humble self will not be on how to become a top 2% researcher in the world, because I believe that how to become a top 2% researcher in the globe is a common knowledge. And it has to do with the number of citations. And I believe that if we want to have maybe a very huge number of citations, it has to do with the quantity and also the quality of the journal papers that we publish maybe every year. So which means that the higher the number of journals, or the higher the quality of the journal paper being published, the more the likelihood that the individual will be among the top 2% researcher in the world. So because of this, I will not want to go through that route of maybe discussing on how to become a top 2% researcher in the world. So instead of this, I would like to focus on another conference. And the conference is about climate change. And I believe that probably after this keynote speech, if we are able to browse through the website of the conference, we are likely to find many interesting topics that we may maybe conceptualize. And at the end of the day, probably if we write on those topics, we may be able to publish in high-quality journal, and which will eventually probably make us one of the top 2% or one of the even top 1% researchers in the world. And this conference is called COP28. It is called COP28, So I will probably discuss a very brief summary of this conference. So these are the things that I want to present about the conference. So I would like, initially, I would like to present on the background of the conference, which is a background of COP28. And also, I will also show how valuable is this conference to Malaysia by showing us Malaysia's level of participation in the conference, then objective of the conference, then the strategies identified during the conference. And these strategies, I believe that if we probably read through the strategies, probably after my speech or maybe in the future, we may be able to conceptualize many ideas that we may transform it into topics for journal papers or even conferences or even grant, whenever we are applying for a grant. Then the last one is the possible use of the conference by different entities in Malaysia. So these are the things I will briefly discuss, and I believe that whatever I discuss today will be highly probably insufficient. We might need to maybe probably go through the website of the conference, and we may be able to get more information about the conference through our own personal endeavors. So let me start with the background. So COP28 or COPS 28, as you can see from the title, it is 28. So 28 means the 28th meeting of the Conference of Parties. So C there means conference, then of the parties is O, and the P refers to the parties. So it refers to the 28th United Nations Climate Change Conference. And it took place in Dubai, in UAE, between the last day of November last year and 12th of December 2023, which means that it was held for 13 days. So COPs, and from the word, probably from the title 28, it means that there was COP1, COP2, COP3, 4, 5 until 28, and there will be 29 this year, maybe 30 also next year, and 31 in 2026. So it means that there are several COPs. So COPs are the world's only multilateral decision-making forum on climate change, with almost complete membership of every country in the world. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that COPs is just like a conference that is similar to United Nations Assembly, General Assembly. You know, when United Nations is having its General Assembly, nearly all the representatives from each country will be present. The same thing is also applicable during the COP. In fact, it is the largest gathering of different stakeholders when it comes to climate change in the globe. So specifically, during the COP28, about one. So this shows how significant is the conference across the world. It is not only significant in the developing countries, but it is also significant in the developed countries. Why? Because most of the culprit of climate change are from the developed countries, while most of the victims of climate change are from the developing countries. So apart from the leaders, you also have, apart from leaders of international organizations, you also have business leaders, young people, climate scientists, educationists, indigenous people, journalists, and various other experts that attended the conference. So going back to history, the first conference or the first COP was held in 1995, and it was held in Berlin. And the 21st COP was held in Paris, and it was actually the resolutions made during the meeting in Paris that resulted in the Paris Agreement of 2015. So the next meeting is likely to take place in Azerbaijan in 2024. For your information, I think Paris Agreement, when Trump became the president, he actually stated that U.S. will no longer be a party. He removed U.S. from the Paris Agreement, whereas when Biden came in, he reinstated U.S. or United States in the agreement. So you have COP's formal meeting of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change to assess the progress in dealing with climate change. They are also meant to establish obligations for developed and also later on developing countries to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. So initially, the COP resolutions were binding on developed countries only, because in the 1990s, developed countries were largely responsible for most of the emissions in the world. And as you know, the most important determinant of climate change is the emissions of different nations. So in the past, developed countries such as US, UK, and EU were responsible. Recently, you now have countries like China, countries like India, countries like Brazil, and in fact, countries like BRICS countries are now accounting for a very substantial share of emissions across the globe. So initially when COP started, it was meant to reach a resolution or obligations. It was meant to reach a resolution that will be binding on the developed countries only. But since the developing countries are now accounting for more and more share of the total emissions, so most of the subsequent COPs resolutions are not only binding on the developed countries, but they are also now binding on the developing countries. So COP's agenda are related to some of the sustainable development goals. So most of the resolutions reached during the previous COPs and also the current ones are usually related to several of the SDGs, such as SDG 13, which is on climate action, and SDG 14, which is on oceans, or what you may call life below water, and also SDG 15, which is on life on land, which has to do with desertification, it has to do with deforestation, and others. So this is probably the brief background of COP 28. So now we move to how significant is COP in Malaysia. And we want to look at how significant is COP in Malaysia by looking at the Malaysia's participation. Because it is believed that if COP is not important in Malaysia, then there will be low-level participation in COP. But if COP is very significant, if Malaysia feels that COP is very significant, then Malaysia must have sent a high-powered or high-level delegations to COP. So let us look at Malaysia's participation in order for us to probably comprehend the level of importance of COP in Malaysia. So during COP 28, Malaysia had about 700 delegates to the conference. And these 700 delegates included the former Agong, Sultan Abdullah. So in fact, on the 1st of December 2023, the Sultan gave a royal address, and His Majesty expressed optimism for the success of COP28, anticipating that it will play a pivotal role in expediting global endeavors to combat climate change. He also inaugurated a Malaysia pavilion at the event. This pavilion served as a platform where the Malaysian delegates were able to discuss with other delegates across the world. Few agreements were signed at the pavilion. So the Agong was to show the significance of the COP to Malaysia. The Agong was actually accompanied to the meeting by 2 ministers, and you have about 30 delegates representing different government agencies that also attended the conference. So this shows how significant is the conference to this shows how significant is the conference to Malaysia. So now, let us look at the objectives of COP. The first objective of COP28 was or is to identify global solutions for limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Currently, I think global temperature is about 1.7 degrees Celsius, and it is one of the aims is to ensure that by 2030 the global temperature should decrease to below 1.5 degrees Celsius. And one of the objectives is to reduce emission by 22 gigaton before 2030, because it is believed that if emission is reduced by 22 gigaton, then the achievement of below 1.5 degrees Celsius will be realizable. And mind you, currently the current level of emission is more than 40 gigatons. So which means that there is a need to reduce the level of emission by almost 50%. So this is one of the objectives of COP28. So apart from 2030, there is another objective that is related to 2050. And this objective has to do with what? Net zero emission by 2050. So which means that another objective of the COP28 is that by 2050, the emission level should be 0. So the last objective, although there are several objectives, but these are the 3 that I just want to highlight. So if you want more information on this, you can go to the website of COP28 and get more information. So the last objective is helping vulnerable communities to adapt to the effect of climate change. For your information, most of these vulnerable communities are located in the developing countries. I think when I started, I said that most of the culprits of climate change are in the developed countries, while most of the victims are in the developing countries. So these are the 3 objectives that I want to highlight. And now the next thing is, what are the strategies identified during the COP28, which the organizers and also the attendees feel that if these strategies are probably implemented, these 3 objectives and many other objectives of COP28 will be realized. So there are 4 strategies that were identified during the COP28. So the first the first strategy of COP28 is to fast track a just and orderly energy transition. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is trying to change the composition of energy mix. For your information, currently about, I think, 76% of the energy mix is sourced from fossil fuel. And what do we mean by fossil fuel? We are referring to coal, oil, and gas. So globally, about 76% of the total energy is sourced from these 3 sources. So we have oil, which is the largest, about, I think, 25% or so. We have followed by coal, which is the second largest, and we have gas, which is the third largest. So it also means that only 24% of the global energy is being sourced from renewable sources. And the renewable sources are hydro, solar, wind, geothermal, biomass, and others. So now, one of the strategies identified during the conference is to fast-track a just and orderly energy transition. That is, moving from a world of fossil fuel to a world of renewable energy consumption. So agreement on mitigation measures were reached, and for the first time ever, one of the new strategies is to ensure that there is a fossil fuel phase out. What we used to have before 2023 was phase down. And phase down means that a world in which renewable energy will dominate, but fossil fuel will still be in existence. But during the conference, it was stated for the first time that we should move to a world whereby there will be no oil, there will be no gas, and there will be no coal. All our energy sources will be from renewable, all our energy will be sourced from renewable energy. So this is one of the new things that was actually initiated during the 28th COP, which was never which was never agreed upon in the previous 27 meetings. So there is also a need to end the use of coal, oil, gas, which have been identified as the main drivers of climate crisis, to increase global renewable energy capacity threefold by 2030, and also global energy efficiency rate by twofold. These are some of the strategies. Another strategy is what? Is the acceleration of technologies such as carbon capture and storage. So which means that even if there is a use of coal and there is use of coal, use of gas, use of oil, and you have carbon emission as a result of the use of these 3 fossil fuel, with technologies that will be able to capture the emissions generated from these fossil fuel should be developed so that the impact on the economy will be very, very minimal. So, in essence, the first strategy is what? Fast-tracking energy transition from an economy dominated by fossil fuel to an economy that is devoid of fossil fuel. So you also have all this. I think because of time, I will just skip this. So the second is fixing climate finance. As you can see here, finance. So this simply means increasing finance towards adapting towards adaptation. So this is simply increasing finance related to climate change. So there is a need to increase funding for climate adaptation and resilience effort of conflict-affected and climate-vulnerable countries. So the need to increase financing twofold to fund climate change adaptation actions have also been emphasized. And these are some of the fundings that were actually agreed upon during the meeting. So the first funding is for the Green Climate Fund, which is about $3.5 billion. So, and this Green Climate Fund is actually a fund that is meant to ensure that developing countries are able to adapt to climate change, because climate change leads to desertification, and desertification leads to less farming. And less farming means more losses for farmers, especially in developing countries. So how do you compensate for all these losses? So one of the ways to compensate for all these losses is to create a fund, and one of the funds is actually Green Climate Fund. So you also have another fund, which is the Adaptation Fund, I think, which is on the next slide. Adaptation Fund is also serving the same purpose, and about $188 million was agreed upon for this fund. So you also have a new fund that was created, which is called Loss and Damage Fund. This is also meant to ensure that developing countries are able to adapt to the consequences of climate change. So the third strategy identified during COP28 is focusing on nature, lives, and livelihood. And this has to do with blue economy, which has to do with the ocean, improvement of blue economy, improvement of the ocean, reducing unhealthy ocean exploitation, and also prevention of mining activities, prevention of mining exploitation, or what you may call prevention of seabed exploitation, then restoration of oceans and natural ecosystem as part of sustainability effort, reducing deforestation to protect rural communities with increased protection against natural disasters. So you also have focusing on blue carbon initiatives, including coral reef restoration, protection of 30% of oceans, and $250 million philanthropic injection was also announced for ocean conservation, using the ocean to support renewable energy with the installation of more than 350 gigawatts of offshore power. So the last one is fostering inclusivity for all, which deals with inclusion of several parties in policy making processes and transforming education to achieve climate ambitions. COP28 also emphasized the key roles of several parties, including civil society, women, youth, local leaders, and others. Then there is also social protection system for promoting food security and nutrition. So now we have identified 4 strategies, and these 4 strategies are just stories. So they are just stories, and I think the most important thing is what are the uses, or what do we benefit from all the stories I've been probably making since the beginning of this presentation. The first possible use of COP22 is that institutions such as MMU and also other educational institutions can encourage projects that have teams that are consistent with COP28. What is the benefit of this? The benefit of this is that this project will carry teams that are not only appreciated in Malaysia, but are also appreciated across the world, because the agreement reached during the COP28 is an agreement that was reached across the world, because COP28 was attended by most of the countries across the world. So when we are dealing with a project that are consistent with the themes of COP, or with the topics or the strategies or the objectives of COP, we will be dealing with a project that will be identifiable across the world, which means that we will be dealing with a project that is useful not only in Malaysia but across the world. Then institutions related to this institution can also fund projects with themes that are consistent with COP28. Institutions should also commence or should enhance substituting fossil fuel with renewable energy, such as replacing oil propelled cars, because it is stated that by 2050 there should be no use of oil, no use of coal, and no use of gas. So we need to start from now. And funding bodies. This is probably one of the key messages I want us to take home from this particular speech, which means, and this has to do with probably MMU. We have our external grant, we have our internal grant funding. So how do we probably develop topics that we want the applicant to write on? We can actually look at COP28 and see whether we'll be able to identify some topics that may become the themes of our internal grant, so that whatever output the applicant are able to produce from MMU internal grant, this output might not only be useful in Malaysia, it might also be useful across the world. And also, if this output contains publications, it means that these publications will not only be appreciated in Malaysia, but will also be appreciated across the world. And this may lead to maybe high citation for such papers. So as a result of that, probably the individual may also become one of the top 2% or one of the top 1% in the world. So if we are able to do this. Then also conference organizer, probably our next DIFCON, we may also look at COP29 by then. So we look at the themes, and we look at the topics or the strategies of COP29, and we may be able to probably also get idea of what we need to discuss during DIFCON 2025. And also, publishers can also consider the themes of COP28 in order to conceptualize their themes, such as special editions of journals. If we want to probably conceptualize our topics, we may also look at, especially if we are dealing with the environment, we may look at the strategies identified or the objectives of COPs, and maybe based on that, we may be able to conceptualize our topics. So the same thing goes for book chapters and also other forms of publications. So I think this is where I'm going to stop. Thank you very much for the invitation, and bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the insightful presentation. I'm very sure that everyone in the audience learned some valuable insight from you, Prof.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tan Sri, Puan Sri, Dato, Datin, Professors and Doctors, our next speech will be given by the Director of Health Data Science Lab, College of Medicine and Health Sciences, United Arab Emirates University, Professor Muhammad Sabri Muhammad. Muhammad Sabri is a professor of artificial intelligence and health data science. His research area includes artificial intelligence, data science, bioinformatics, and computational biology. He was appointed as a leader to head the task force for academic collaboration, training and research between University Malaysia Kelantan UMK and Giant Industries, namely Huawei Technologies Company Limited, Microsoft Corporation and Alibaba Group Holding Limited. Additionally, he is a member of the advisory board for the Artificial Intelligence Research Institute and IoT Digital Innovation Hub in Europe. Without further ado, please welcome our second keynote speaker for today, Professor Muhammad Sabri Muhammad, with the topic Health Data Science for School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Over to you, Prof.
AI, machine learning, deep learning, and actually what they are actually the main umbrella under AI, and the machine learning subset deep learning. As I said, I don't want to talk too much about the definition, but I just go through quickly. Big data, easy to remember. Not about big, but 6V, which is volume, variety, velocity, veracity, value, and variability. not only big data reflect to the big size, no, they should have at least 6 V's. And then, yeah, in the big data, they have analytics. So descriptive analytics talk about what happened now, what happened. We look for example, we have many dashboard, what happened now. And then diagnostic analytics talking about why did it happen, why. And predictive, of course, they predict what will happen tomorrow, next week, or next month. And then prescriptive analytics, how to prevent. Let's say tomorrow, maybe COVID outbreak more distribute to some area, how to prevent the outbreak. So this is the job for prescriptive analytics under the big data. All right, Internet of Things actually combination of device, data, and also the software. And we should have the connection through the internet, Wi-Fi, locally, intranet, or through cloud and so on. So actually we connect the device. The easy way to understand, we have the smartwatch from Garmin or Fitbit or from Apple Watch. Actually, this kind of device under the Internet of Things. And to establish health data science, of course, we need the infrastructure. Without the infrastructure, health data science, we cannot implement and deliver. I believe all kind of technology, they need the infrastructure. For the health data science infrastructure, they have 5 component or 5 technology that we need to establish. The first infrastructure, of course, cloud computing. Second, high performance computing. And we need the GPU, graphical processing unit. Cybersecurity as well, of course. And high-speed internet, we call as high-speed bandwidth. So to establish all these components of infrastructure, of course, costing us a lot, can reach not 100,000, even more than 1 million USD. So in order to reduce the cost, actually we make the sharing concept. We share and we partner with some organization and we share our existing infrastructure. For example, in my lab or college, we have the database server, we have the high performance computing and GPU. However, the capacity is limited. We have the item, but limit in terms of number and capacity. So we share and we partner with other universities from Australia, from American, from Malaysia as well, of course, and also from Europe. So that we gain more capacity and power scalability so that our infrastructure becomes strong. Okay, after the infrastructure, health data science, we need the software. Without the software, only infrastructure, goodbye. So software for the health data science, I divide, we have AI framework, big data platform, Internet of Things framework, machine learning framework, high performance and GPU platform, database, web server, data science programming platform also. So we need to have all this kind of software at least so that we can run and implement the health data science. And in basically most of the software actually open source, which is free, especially for the education and R&D, they not charge us for the dollar and cents. Very few software provider, they charge for the academician or researcher. But so far, this kind of software, mostly I would say free of charge under open source license. All right. This is general or integrated health data science ecosystem. We have the national blueprint or national health mission in this case. The blueprint should be policy, roadmap, or maybe standard. Some people call it national framework, national strategy or initiative, etc., and so on. But this is the we call as blueprint for the national. And then our health data science ecosystem, we try to develop and establish connected and integrated ecosystems so that we are not siloed. So the lowest layer, we should establish infrastructure, as we said before. Infrastructure, they have cloud computing, GPU, cybersecurity, and so on. After that, we establish, they call health data science infrastructure, which is all the data and platform we put here, AI platform, big data platform, and so on. We install the software and we make the integrated database here. And after we have the infrastructure and infrastructure, we have capacity to develop applications. So let's say my laboratory, we would like to develop application for pharmacology and drug discovery, and also personalized and predictive medicine. Another lab also, they can establish for medical imaging, public health, and so on, without to buy any new equipment or new platforms for the software and database. We share everything. So we combine everything so that we can reduce the cost, reduce the time, and we share the resources. We do it, we can do internally, and also we can open for the international connected and integrated connectivity. All right, so when we have all of this easy, researchers just concentrate how to develop the application. I would like to do application for integrative medicine, for the genetics and genomic. They concentrate to develop the AI or machine learning for the genetic and genomics. They no need to think how to establish the infrastructure, how to spend the money to buy the infrastructure, the database, and so on and so forth, because we share the platform and infrastructure. Okay. In terms of education, in health data science, actually, we can offer the academic program under public health and also under biomedical science. So far, most of the top university, they offer master and PhD program in health data science. And they pack under the public health and also biomedical science. In medical faculty or medical field, they have many departments, more than 20 departments. So, but normally they put the health data science under public health or biomedical data science, or biomedical science, sorry. On top of academic programs, we also can offer course or short course, health data science, machine learning for healthcare, programming for healthcare, big data for healthcare. Because we must remember, they are coming from the life science, which is not come from the computer science or IT background. So we should propose introductory courses for them. So we can start with health data science, machine learning, and so on. And we also can organize the training in workshop, short course, or boot camp, especially when we do the training during the summer course or winter course, because during that time, the student or workers, they have more free time to join as full-time student or full-time trainers. Okay, to realize the health data science, we need the collaboration, internally and external. Internal, of course, we need to collaborate between college and faculty, center of excellence, department, and laboratory research group. And again, we must remember, health data science is interdisciplinary field. So, of course, they need the combination. We cannot stay alone as medicine science, medical science, or computer science. No, we need the combination, including the mathematical science. Externally, we need the healthcare provider, other university, ministry, government agency, NGO, industry, and insurance party also. All right, I show you for the next, our ongoing project. This is for public health. So we use this kind of technology for our project, data ingestions, data treatment, and so on. This kind of technology, MySQL, Oracle, Amazon Web Service, and so on and so forth. I don't want to talk detail about this, just to show the slide, what we have done so far. All right, we have project with my collaborator from Europe. This project funded by European Commissions, and we implement this project, I believe, in Salamanca, Spain. So we call a new sustainable smart city, something like that, to improve quality of life. And we can access this project through the online. And also during the COVID last time, we implement the data science to monitor COVID outbreak and predict in Colombia in some area, also funded by EU commissions and also European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And also for COVID apps application last time, we do the monitoring and prediction for several cities, Barcelona, Sofia, and Athens. This project, to be honest, I am just sub-PI. The PI is Prof. Juan from the Spain. We also do the monitoring and prediction for public health. I believe this project we conduct in Qatar, Doha. And also we have project in the Emirates, they call Mutabaa study to secure epidemiological data on maternal and child health. So we collect the data, thousands of patients, pregnant women, baby, and so on, and we display the dashboard, the statistic, what we have, mother data summary, baby data summary until 15 years old. So this is dashboard we already established, and we give to the end user in Emirates. They can access this kind of dashboard to get the information. And we also recently tried to establish, to be honest, this project just recently, we tried to propose a smart digital mental health application for Emirates and also Saudi. This project involved collaboration from my side and also from my partner in Saudi. So after the outbreak and plus the economic crisis worldwide, we believe the mental health is the main issue worldwide actually. So that's why we propose this kind of project. Not yet start, but we will do soon. Okay, and recently we gained the funding, 1 million dirham, which is around 300,000 US dollars to develop an NLP system and AI generative for electronic medical record. They call as clinical record. We have the data, we do the training, testing, evaluation, and last deployment. This project we start 2 months ago, still new. Now data collection, data preparation stage. All right, for personalized medicine, we have existing project and ongoing projects. Now we call Deep NGS. We implement the machine learning to analyze the genetics data from next generation sequences, and we can access the project under the online here. You can subscribe, you can do the registration, subscribe, and we give you a trial for 1 month to do the analysis. And this is the human variant database, which is they keep the human database in terms of genetics and genomics. So we can do the data sharings, and then they have several features. They can do the analysis, inheritance, flight annotation, cohort analysis, oligogenic analysis, and so on. So this kind of database, we collaborate with Johns Hopkins. My main collaborator, actually, Prof. Nara from Johns Hopkins Hospital, and she also attached with Johns Hopkins University. So far, we can use this kind of database. In my college, we can save almost $500,000 USD per year when we start using this database to replace the commercial one. The commercial one very super expensive, the licensing. So we can save them a lot of money, $500,000 per year. We also have project with Abu Dhabi Hospital. We develop descriptive analytics for rare disease, and then the data from electronic medical record. Normally the clinician, they want to diagnose the patients. They have the rule, and we implement the rule through the dashboard analytics. So this project, we already submit article under scientific report, Nature Springer, under revisions, minor revisions, and we believe by next month we submit the corrections. And then the next project, we try to develop the predictor to predict pathogenic variants using deep learning for breast cancer. So this project, we collaborate with University of Melbourne. And so far, recently we published in Bioinformatics Oxford, and under the top 5% journal. And then the next one, we also make another project for drug repurposing predictions based on the encoder-decoder graph neural networks for the breast and rare disease. So far, we managed to publish one article, and one article we just under review. And also, we propose a deep learning algorithm for breast cancer survival predictions based on multi-omics data. And recently, our article accepted. We do the correction and fully accepted, now in press and published under the top 1% AI review, Springer Nature also. And this project, actually, we collect the data from clinical data from hospital, imaging data, and multi-omics data. We combine and we apply deep learning. And I believe this is my last project so far. We collaborate with Melbourne, and we managed to publish in top 1%. This project, actually, we try to identify sub-pathway engines using AI for cancer classifications. Yeah, that's all the project. Okay, in summarize, from my experience, from my readings, from my discussion with experts, I can conclude that to develop the health data science applications, and I believe other application also, digital application, I mean, 50% actually, the complexity coming from here, not from the technical, from more on the management, legal document, guideline, procedure, standard, policy, code of conduct, registration, this kind of more on the documentation and rule regulations, more on the management. 50% here, actually, the complexity. Once everything okay here, and then data. Data contribute to the 30% of the total complexity. And the rest, technically, data science, which is combined AI, machine learning, big data, and so on, only 20%. The complexity, 20% only. I don't know, this is from my judgment. Maybe because I coming from the AI and data science in the area, maybe easy for me. But, I have students from the life science background. They don't know the IT and computer science. They just study and try to run Python, PyTorch program, TensorFlow, and so on. I believe just 20%. The most difficulty coming from here. How to get the data protection, data policy, data privacy, and so on and so forth. And data standard, very difficult, especially if organizations still new and not yet established this kind of documentation or standard. I don't know, whatever they call. And health data, 30%. Of course, most of the time for the data pre-processing. Data pre-processing, you get to collect data easy, but to do the pre-processing a lot of time consuming. We need to concentrate and spend our time more on this type of data. Right, that's all. Thank you very much. Any question? Welcome.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that very insightful presentation.
Next, our third keynote of this year, DIFCON 2024. Let's invite Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Khairul bin Ahmad, Director of Institute of Integrated Engineering, IIE, from University Tun Hussein On, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Muhammad Khairul bin Ahmad is a professor in Department of Electronics Engineering from Faculty of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. He is also a Director of Institute of Integrated Engineering, IIE, at University Tun Hussein On, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Muhammad Khairul's research focuses on nanostructures oxide materials such as TiO2 and ZNO. He is also interested in oxide material, base thermoelectric, dye-sensitized solar cell, wastewater treatment, and mechanoluminescent materials. Professor Dr. Muhammad Khairul has published 161 papers in Web of Science Index Journal with 1,492 of citations. Now, without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Muhammad Khairul from University Tun Hussein On, Malaysia. Prof. Khairul, are you ready?
Please.
All right, if you are ready, over to you, Prof.
Right.
Prof. Khairul?
Okay, can you see? Yeah.
All right,
you
we
see?
can hear you now.
Can you see my slide?
Are you sharing your slides now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see your slides.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum. A very good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to share some of my research in UTHM. Firstly, I would like to thank MMU for inviting me as a keynote speaker today. So today I would like to discuss or share. I think not directly related to mean IT or AI 4.0, but this is my research maybe towards the material from material to the electronic devices. Okay, the title for today is Unlocking the Potential of Retail Phase TiO2 Innovation and Application. Maybe some of you are not familiar with material, but today I would like just a very simple one. And then you're going to see the application and the innovation from the material, starting from the synthesis of the nanomaterials towards the application of the devices. And then we're going to discuss what are the potential from this material, not only for certain application, but our material, we call it TiO2 rutile phase, is I think it's a good candidate to use in electronic devices. Okay. Again, my name is Muhammad Khairul bin Ahmad. I'm from University Tun Hussein Malaysia. So before we go into my research, some introduction of my university. We are a very small university compared to MMU. At MMU is a very big university. So University Tun Hussein Malaysia. So our chancellor, our chancellor, the boss of JDT and the football club, our Tunku Ismail, chancellor, our chancellor, and then our pro chancellor, his brother, is our Highness Tunku, His Highness Tunku Idris Iskandar, and then our second pro chancellor, Tan Sri Dato' Haji Azmi bin Rohani, our state secretary of Johor. And then this is our board of directors, so led by Dato' Sri Ibrahim Ahmad. Usually people call him Pak Yim. Previously he's I think board of MIMOS, and now he's in UTHM. And then our VC, Prof. Dato' IR Dr. Zuzairi, he's from UTM, and then this is our executive member. So some history, some introduction of UTHM is a very small and old university, I think. We started from PLSP. PLSP is a Pusat Latihan Staff Polytechnic. So all the staff in polytechnics right now, okay, they train long way before we train all the staff of polytechnic here in UTHM. We call it PLSP. And then 1996, we go into the ITO, we call it ITO Institute, upgrade from Pusat Latihan to Institute. And then 2000, we upgraded to KUITO, we upgrade to college, university college, okay, to Malaysia. And then we converted to upgrade to university starting 2007. So UTHM is the 15th university in Malaysia. Okay, we are number 15, born as a 15th university, public university in Malaysia. And then after 7 years operating, we have a new campus in Pago, in EduHub Pago. In Pago, we have 3 faculty. We have diploma studies there. And then we have Faculty of Technology, Engineering Technology. And then we have another one is Faculty of Science and Technology. And then 2020, we have another branch in Tanjung Labuh, near Batu Pahat, near to the Selat Melaka Street. And then we have aircraft. We're going to have aircraft and piloting. The program for piloting and aircraft maintenance are already in our university, but the place for this program will be in the Tanjung Labuh. So for your information, we are one of the MTON, means Malaysian Technology University Network. We have 4 MTONs in Malaysia, so we're on one of the MTONs. Okay, and then our niche area is sustainable technology and transportation. Okay, so where are we? We are in the southern of Malaysia. You can see that near to Singapore. It's just 100 and then kilometer, about 2 hours, not 2 hours. I think 1 hour and 30 minutes from Batu Pahat to Singapore, and then about 2 hours, 3 hours to KLIA. So this is the UTHM, and then we have the Tanjung Labuh in Batu Pahat. We have Pago near Muar. Okay, so now at this moment we have 3 campuses. Okay, and then so this is the Malaysia Technical University Network. So we have 4 UTHM. We have another one UTEM in Malacca. We have University Malaysia Perlis, UNIMAP, and then we have University Malaysia Pahang Al Sultan Abdullah, okay, UMPSA. So if you look at this slide, okay, the niche area is sustainable technology, and then UTEM advanced manufacturing and computing technology, and then we have UNIMAP electronics and automation engineering, and then we have UMPSA advanced process engineering and automotive. So this is the MTONs. Okay, so the MTONs is the task of the MTON is actually to make friends with the industry. We should join the industry to move Malaysians towards industrial, or to help the stakeholder in such ways. Okay, so okay, some introduction of me now. Currently, I'm as a director, professor in Faculty of Electrical and Electronics. My majoring is actually in material science and electronic application. Currently, director of Institute of Integrated Engineering. Okay, I got my PhD from Shizuoka University. My first degree in Gunma University in Japan. My master in UITM. So okay, as in the slide, so my research is about maybe big picture is about nanostructured materials, and then maybe for the application of solar cells, and then we do have students doing polymer gel, electrolyte, and then perovskite solar cells. Maybe some photocatalytic application using our materials. And then, okay, so some, introduction of Institute of Engineering. So as a director of, we call it I2E, Institute of Integrated Engineering. We have, I'm as a director for all the COE, Center of Excellence in UTHM. We do have now 6 COE right now. We have RESES. We call it RESES. RESES is a soft soil center of excellence. We have Malaysia or Johor, and then Borneo. We have so many areas with soft soil, pit soil. So we have RESES currently doing the research of the pit soils. So we have EM Center, Electromagnetic Case Center, doing research in EM Center. And then we have MIN SRC, we have Microelectronics and Nanotechnology, Samsung Research Center. So we are doing micro and nanotechnology research in this center. And then we have advanced manufacturing material for our COE. So this COE mainly doing material for mechanicals and then polymer. And then we do have I think recycling of materials in manufacturing. And then we have MPRC. MPRC is more to micropolitan research center. So these guys doing research in water quality, water treatment, and so on. So, and lastly, we do have a new member actually upgraded from to COE. We have ISO rail. This is this COE is more towards rails. So we do have program for rails now in Pago, and then this COE in charge of rail, and then we do all the trainings or the research of rails. So we do have MOA with the MOT and then Prasarana and so on. So this is all MCOE now in UTHM. So microelectronics, I'm from microelectronics, so this is our center. Okay, before that, okay, this is introduction. So we're going towards our research. So this is where I did my research and our center. We do have a lot of characterization and fabrication equipment. So, okay, introduction of the material that we're going to talk about is TiO2. We call it titanium dioxide. It's oxide materials. Okay, usually, okay, I think the TiO2 is a very well-known material, oxide material. It has a unique properties. Okay, beside photocatalytic properties in TiO2, it has a 3 phase that these 3 phases has a unique characteristic, and then we do use them to different application. For example, TiO2 we have anatase, rutile, and brucite actually. So we use it nowadays. They are using anatase and rutile. So mainly for non-electronic devices. We use anatase phase of TiO2, and for electronic application, we use rutile phase TiO2. So this we can, if you look at anatase, if you took for material for TiO2, usually people are talking about anatase and rutile. Okay, and then and then we go to after that we're going to talk about actually the TiO2. My study is about nanostructured TiO2. So is more towards how we synthesis, how we decorate, how we tune our TiO2 from a normal particle towards a nanostructured material. So if you look in the review of people are doing a lot of nanostructured, when we it's going to give a different characteristic when we have a bulk TiO2, and then we have nanostructured TiO2, and then the small size we give different characteristic. So today I would like to share about basically this is my PhD work, so we extended to various application. So when I did my PhD, I did TiO2 nanoflower, and then for the solar cell application. But after that, we explore. We use the same material, nanoflower. We try to use its characteristic of photocatalytic, and then we study the degradation. We use this material for water treatment. Then we use and then we use the photocatalytic properties. So in this study, we study the photocatalytic degradation of MB, methylene blue, using a TiO2 nanoflower, and then using a very simple method and a hydrothermal method. Okay, this is if you quite familiar, quite new with the photocatalysis. So when we talk about photocatalysis, means that when we have when we have light, it's going to be it turn to catalyst, then it's produce the hole and electron. So it will it will when we get a light, okay, and then it will have a electron and hole. So the electron will some sort of extract of the pollutant. So we going to have a extraction using the electron. So the water will be clean, and then use the because of this reaction. So we're going to improve our process of the treatment using our TiO2 nanostructure. So it's a very simple method. If you look at this synthesis of our nanoflower, it's a very cheap procedure. We just mix the material, the chemicals, okay, and then we use a very simple mixing procedure, and then we have to use heat, okay, and then to grow the nanostructure. So from TiO2, basically or fundamentally, it's a round shape of TiO2. Then we do a specific process or procedure. We can have a various type of structures. So with this, if you look at, you can imagine a small particle, a round particle of TiO2, and then we compare to the nanoflower. It's a nanoflower like TiO2. You can see that the surface area. So when we have a very high surface area, we are going to have a very large exposure to the light. So we can increase the electron separation, and then to improve our photocatalytic process. Okay, so this is some of the same image when we use FISM. So we try to use to get a very good structures for the use for the methylene blue. So we try to we did a different concentration of TiO2. So if we increase, we increase the TiO2. So we increase the precursor. We call it precursor, means the starting material. We can see that from small scales of nanoflower, is when you increase the concentration, you can see the flower is became bigger, and then the flower itself, the amount of flower is will increase, and then the thickness, you can see that the thickness increase when we increase the concentration. So we know that if you want a large or thicker TiO2 nanorods, or nanoflower, you have to use high concentration. If you want a very thin layer of nanoflower, you just use a very small concentration of TiO2. And then you can see the temp image. You can see through all the crystalline and then the spacing. So it's confirmed that we have confirmed that our TiO2 is, our nanoflower is a combination of nanorods. You can see the temp image. Okay, it shows that we have spacing about 3 nanometer. Okay, and then we do EDX. We confirm that this is a TiO2, and then there is no other element in our samples. And then we do study about the band gap. Okay, when we increase our, you can see that A is I think the as deposit, and then B we use 0.05 molar, and then we increase. We can see that when we increase the concentration, the band gap will be decreased. Okay, and then we do study about the photoluminescence. Okay, for 100, we use excitation energy. Okay, using one sample, we do at 3 to 5 nanometer, 420 and 500. We can see that it's a shift. Okay, and then we study some study in using XPS. We study the chemical state. You can see that we have Ti2P and Ti2. Okay, again we have 3 plus, and we at the surface of the TiO2 we have a Ti4 plus. Okay, with a Ti3 plus, and then we do for XPS also. So this is the binding energy. Okay, and then with the XPS from our study. So, and then after that we do the degradation properties. So we study, we eliminate with the UV light, and then we do degradation, and then we measure the time and the dye degradation percent. We can see that okay, by degradation under 2 days is we completed. Okay, at the end we managed to get a 95%, and then okay, when we do the dye degradation and until 5 hours, you can see that it improved. Okay, and then we use we try to reuse of the TiO2. Please remember that this is a film, so it's not a powder, it's a film, so we're going to reuse. And then at this time we try to use at 5 times, so there is no significant differences between first cycle, 1 cycle, and 5 cycles. So I think the film is a good method or good way a good way to use for water treatment, because nowadays people are using powder for treat the water. So if we use a film, so we can reduce the process of to get back the flour, the powder. And then if you use a film, you just put into the water, and then we can take out. Okay, and then another one we use for UV. Okay, we can use also for UV sensor. This is a project of my students. So the TiO2, it depends on which application you want to use. So if we wanted, for example, use for UV sensor, it advised to use metal doping, and then we're going to use niobium dopant as a dopant to improve the sensitivity of the TiO2. So basically, TiO2 should dope with something metal because we can enhance the properties, and then we can use for example for sensor. Okay, it's a way to how to improve the application. So a very simple method. We just use same method, and then we just this time we are not going. We are not going the flower, so you're not going to decorate with the flower. You just use the nano rods. Okay, if you see, I think if we can plant or we can grow nano flower and nano rods. We can grow nano flower only. We can grow actually nano rods only. So this is how we play with the nanostructured material. So you can depend on the application. So nano rods only is suitable for our sensor because if we use a nano flower and nano rods, it has a barrier or some resistance that could it could affect the properties of the sensor. So this is how we prepare our TiO2 nano rods. Okay, this is the XRD. So we prepare a different concentration and different. This is we do doping with different dopant. We have metal dopant and non-metal. We have we do at the same time simultaneously with metal and non-metal. So okay, this is the 3 samples that we 0.25 niobium, 1 weight percent of boron, and then we do boron and niobium. So this is the XPS analysis. Okay, and then we can see that we have 2 type of dopant into the TiO2 lattice. Okay, you can see that from the XPS. Okay, and then this is the nanostructure that I told you that we can prepare only nano rods, but you can see that the thickness is very is about 1 micron and about 2 microns. Okay, so you can see that there is no nanoflower, and then the diameter of the nano rods, okay, is about 140 nanometer, and then we have a lattice about 3.3. So okay, and then we have we measure some of the band gap. So we got 3.06. So if we compare to original TiO2, it's about 3.27 EV. So when we dope, it will decrease. And then we do photocurrent. We can see that when we have when we dope with niobium, we have a photocurrent about 20 microampere, and then when we do co-dope at 14 microampere. So when we do the EIS spectroscopy, we can see that with the co-dope with niobium and boron is have a higher recombination rate. Okay, so it might co-dope, it might give a lower photocurrent. Okay, so we actually hoping that the co-dope will enhance the photocurrent, but we got different result. So we are still studying this problem. So at this time, maybe for UV sensor, you should use only a single dopant. And then okay, this is new method that we got last 2 years, I think. This is how we improve our surface area of nanorods. We etch the TiO2 nanorods. Okay, we have etching treatment, and then we etch the TiO2 nanorods. Okay, the nanorods is okay. You can see that after we etch, the roughness increase, because of the etching treatment. So firstly, we prepared only nanorods, okay, on top of the FTO glass, and then we put HCl, okay, and then we put in the oven, and then you can get after that we can get etched TiO2 nanorods. So this is confirm all the sample that we prepared is in rutile phase. So you can see that okay, the A image is as deposited. There is no etching process involved. So when we etch at 0.2, it's slightly damaged, and then we can see 0.03 and 0.04. You can see that actually there is you can see that like a like a tube or like a hollow rods of TiO2. You can see that we can see from A, B, and C. You can see the D give a high surface area because of the etching process. And then we can look at when we increase of the concentration of HCl. Okay, the thickness decrease. Okay, this is okay because of the etching process. And then this one is the thickness when we etch 0.2 and then 0.04. Okay, and then we study the resistivity of sample. So we can see that resistivity decrease when we increase the concentration. Okay, and then when we use these samples, film sample, TiO2 film, non-structured film. So we do you can see that we do the photodetection process from 2 hours up to 10 hours. Okay. When we do for etch TiO2, we get as highest 99 for 10 hours, but up to 6 hours we can get 100 near to 100%, 96% were degraded. Okay, and then it's give a very significant result where the etch, I think the etch process improve our catalyzer. Okay. Okay, and then I think this is all of the. Okay, I think for the conclusion, the TiO2 is a good candidate for oxide material for electronic properties, and then we now concentrating this TiO2 for photocatalytic properties, and then we're going to use this material for solar cell application. It's a very good candidate also because of the electron mobilities, and then the very good in electron mobility because of the nanorods. And then we are also exploring these materials as a material that can convert or can capture CO2, and then when we can convert CO2 using this TiO2. We are playing with the plane of the TiO2, and then we are now trying to pursue with the setup, and then maybe next year I can share our results in CO2 capture. So I think that concludes my talk today. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the insightful and support for this year DIFCON 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we end this session, I would like to make a simple announcement to everyone. All participants are required to sign in to your respective conference, and the link is available on your program book at 2 p.m. as the committees will be doing a roll call before the conference starts. In case you have misplaced your program book, this is the QR code for each conference. You may also contact your respective conference committees if you have any difficulties pertaining to the conference. As the saying goes, to every beginning, there is an ending.
And on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Mazliha Muhammad Suud, Dr. Sharlene Tiagaraja, and Mr. Ian Jones, and all our keynote speaker, Professor Solarin, Professor Sabri, and Professor Khairul, for gracing this event, and to all guests who were present today. We truly appreciate all your support to our DIFCON 2024 this year, and wishing everyone to enjoy the conferences over these 3 days. And now, this opening ceremony for DIFCON 2024 has come to its end. With that, I, Nazri Amin,
and me, Zarina Mat Yatim,
from DIFCON 2024 Committee, signing off. Have a great conference, everyone. See you soon.